What is up, Wise Take Nation? It's your boy, Brewmatic47, here with this asshole. You're a fat shamer, and I will not tolerate that here in the nation, Shocky. My man's breaking my balls because I just had a little magic Uber Eats to my house. So, and my man is giving me shit about it. So, leave a comment if you think Shocky is stupid. Anyways, nation, welcome to this week's PGA Wise Take DFS Wise Stream. We are here to talk to you all about the RBC Heritage in lovely South Carolina. I was supposed to go down to Myrtle Beach in July, and now everyone's getting COVID again, so that's probably not going to happen, and I'm very upset about it. But anyways, I'm here as always with this guy. Don't know where we found him, but he's here. Shocky, my man, at Clint Petrakis on the Twitter machine. What's your Snapchat name? You have Snapchat?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's your Snapchat?
The doctor is in.
I don't even know. So, yeah, I'm going to adjust my lighting here because my camera looks weird. But, yeah, so welcome, everyone. As mentioned before, this week we have the RBC Heritage. RBC standing for the Royal Bank of Canada. We are at the Harbortown Golf Links in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Before we get into this week, my man, Mr. Shocky, your week went. Tell me how you did. I know you did pretty well. You made a little cashish. Well done. So talk to me about it.
Bryson, just super low on Bryson, did work.
Yep.
And I rode Berger all the way up until the break, didn't play him, and then he wins. And I was playing Berger like every week before the break too. Writing him up, playing him. I mean, he didn't do bad those weeks. He just didn't do what he did last week.
Yes, McDonald's fries are the real MVP. Thank you for the love. I also got to make double and a McChicken. So it's a good night over here.
So some surprising things was I'll get to it later when I talk about it, but Bubba Watson did really well.
Yeah, Bubba tore it up.
That ending was very interesting, I'll say the least. You got people missing 5-foot birdie putts. You got Xander choking into the water, then somehow saving par, but then choking and then he 3-putts to bogey, and then
how about that?
The playoff, and then the playoff hole, no one can hit a green.
How about Morikawa just with the most epic lip out, like the most dramatic, violent lip out I've seen in a long time on that playoff hole.
Oh yeah, it was an exciting ending. They really did it well. And then you got, I thought it was a good week. Not as good as I hope with 6 of 6 making the cut. I couldn't take down the 70 man, but still a good profitable week. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, same over here. Cash hit for me without really any kind of a sweat. I got pretty upset at Matt Kuchar. Which I was like, I can't believe I waited 3 months to be this upset at Matt Kuchar.
Quarter rice.
All he needed was a bogey. He just bogey or better on 18 on Friday, and he makes the cut, no problem. Nope, my man dunks it in the water, skull fucks it over the green. So yeah, he made double and missed the cut on the number. So that was tilting. Who else did I have that? Who else did I play that missed the cut? I didn't play Webb, which I put in my article. I was like, careful. Like, he's incredibly joggy this week. And PGA DFS has a way of fucking us in situations like this. That's exactly what happened. I forget who my other guy was who missed the cut. But I had 4 of 6 in cash and cash without a problem in single and 3 large field double ups. So that's what I'm trying to do. DJ will lock at 8,500. There's a reason he's 8,500, but we'll get into that.
Hey, you're hosting the show. I get to talk to the people in chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that how this works? I'm sorry.
Yep.
The new YouTube platform is great. I've never really engaged in the comments before, so this is fun. So, anyways, yeah, profitable week for me. Not as profitable as it was for you, but the way I play, again, for those of you who don't know, is I try to cover my GPP entries with my cash winnings, with the idea that if my cash lineup hits, I will, in worst case, break even for the week. So that usually means if I play $50 in cash, I'm playing $45 in GPPs. If my cash hits, I win $100. I have 95 in entries. I profit, even if it's only $5. In those weeks where the GPPs hit for me, awesome. It's extra money in the bank. So that's the way I play. I try to keep it more strategic. Try to play a little more carefully. I play more cash than I do GPPs as well. So, it was cool. Good to see Daniel Berger get a win. I had DeChambeau in one and done. I know I didn't mention that I was playing him in one and done last week, but that's what I took. He did fine. He chopped 300K or something. So whatever. Morikawa balled out. A lot of other like you said, Bubba came out of nowhere. It was just great.
He was playing well before the break. He had a couple top tens before the break, but no one really talked about him. And I kind of just been and he was so inconsistent with all of his stats. But then I'm like, well, he played really solid. He didn't play bad, have a lucky thing. He played solid golf.
Yeah.
It's not
I remember one round. Listening to Waste Management, he did really well at. People were like, where the fuck is Bubba coming from?
He's getting ready for the Travelers.
There you go. He loves that fucking course, man. You play Bubba at Bubba courses, hands down, every time. So, it was just great to have golf back. I was super excited. The leaderboard on the weekend, the leaderboard going into Saturday was just, unbelievable.
What about Sunday? Sunday, there was 5 people tied for second.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the names. Just, going into the weekend, everyone that was in contention, at least at one point over the weekend, it was incredible. And any of these guys could easily shoot a low score and put themselves in a good spot for the win.
And then Rory shoots 4 over.
My God. Yep. So, anyways, let's move on. That's enough talking about last week. We both did well. It was a good start. But we have to remember, after we have a winning week, take a deep breath. Take a step back. Harris English, that's who it was. Thank you, Wes. Yeah, Harris English missed the cut, which, looking back, it makes sense. I mean, he was putting lights out going into the break. But that 3-month break, I'm almost kind of liking people that had work on, clearly defined stuff to work on over the break, and trusting.
Which was his iron play.
Yeah, which didn't really come to fruition so well because miscut. But I will get into the course this week, and then Shockey will say some things, and then we'll make some picks. So let's do it.
Let's go.
Welcome, one and all, to the RBC Heritage. For those of you who don't know, I basically just read this word for word out of my article. If you're catching this for free, awesome. Welcome. Hi. Get a sub at wisestake.com, and you'll get more of us, more Shockey and Brewmatic goodness, especially at hockey. Try us out for the week. Read our stuff, and if you like it, sweet. If you don't, no worries. We won't hate you. Don't worry. So, basically, welcome one and all to the RBC Heritage, held as always at Harbortown Golf Links, located in Hilton Head, South Carolina, right on the coast. Right off the bat, I want to say this week is a Pete Dye track with a slight update done by Nicholas. As with all Dye courses, it is tough but fair and will reward golfers that can take aggressive shots and place their ball in optimal spots to give them the best look at a second shot. Harbortown is a 7,100-yard par 71 with 4 par 3s and 3 par 5s. The course is very heavily dependent on the weather as a defense. As years here where it has been windy, it ranks in one of the hardest on tour, and years where the wind is calm, it's a much easier course. In past years, we've seen a ton of first-time winners on tour here, usually partially thanks to all the big guns in the field having some form of a Masters hangover. This event traditionally is the event right after the Masters. We also usually see some form of a come-from-behind move to win the event on Sunday. The par threes here aren't overly long, none coming in over 200 yards. The 14th is the hardest hole on the course, with a birdie or better under 10% and a bogey or worse rate of over 25%, which is fucking brutal. The fourth is the fifth hardest, while the two remaining are middle of the road in difficulty. None of the four have a birdie or better over 15%. Of the three par fives, two are reachable by most in two, the second hole being the easiest on the course, and yielding birdie or better over 50% of the time. The third hole is on the longer side. Actually, let me double check that. I may have messed that up. No, it's not the third par five. Yeah, I gotta change that wording. That's not right. Two are reachable by most in two, but the third is on the longer side. That's the 15th. It's over 700 or over 575 yards. 700 yards. Jesus, what is this? Clown golf? What are we at? Shinnecock. All the par fives here give up a 20% or better birdie or better rate. And account for most of the scoring here. We also have a drivable par 4 in the ninth hole, 313 yards. It is the third easiest hole on this course. And then there's another pretty short par 4 coming in at 353 yards. That's the 13th. That's the seventh easiest hole on the course. And then all the rest of the par 4s are decently difficult and range anywhere between 410 yards to 470 yards. The second, third, and fourth hardest holes on this course are the three longest par 4s. So something to just keep in mind. From the tee box, we have very tight, heavily tree-lined fairways with water and a decent amount of bunkers defending the landing zones. These trees are old as fuck and have a considerable amount of overhang, which further complicates second shots. There's going to be a lot of tree balls this week. A lot of tree balls, whether it be off the tee or on the approach shots. Most golfers leave driver in the bag here, as these fairways are crazy tight, right around the 300-yard landing zone. Rough isn't too bad, and, come as a surprise, believe it or not, this course has been called the second shot course, believe it or not. Like, every other fucking course on the PGA Tour. You have to be accurate off the tee here. As with most die courses, shot shaping will very much come into play, and you will not be able to overpower it by spraying and praying. Yeah, approach is huge here. Second shot, we have some of the smallest greens on tour. Literally like Pebble Beach small, like brutally small. They're pretty level and slow. Bermuda grass, which is interesting because they're small, but once you get on the putting surface, you don't have that difficult of a putt, actually, believe it or not. The hardest part is actually getting to the green, getting on the green. From there, you're in a decent spot. They have a ton of bunkers and water guarding them, which golfers will have to contend with this week. Never mind the aforementioned overhanging tree branches. We could very easily see some approach shots get deflected. If guys are pin chasing, we could have some balls wind up in the branches that get rattled around, and God knows where they come up. But at least we don't have to worry about them taking out a spectator this week. What will be interesting is we shouldn't see the POA overseed that we normally see when we play here in April. They do like a POA overseed in October because POA usually does better in the cooler weather over the summertime. And then it usually dies off come the warmer weather in like May and June. So while we see a little bit more of the POA on the putting surfaces in April, we shouldn't really have that to deal with. We'll have more of that beautiful Tiff Eagle Bermuda grass on these greens. Nice, pure, smooth rolling greens. We also have a seaside course, so wind will play a factor for sure. I'll leave Weatherman Shockey for his report. If we look at the 5 main stroke gain stats compared to other courses and people who have won here, driving distance is actually very, very lowly ranked. Driving distance is not well correlated with success here. Putting is decently important, but with these smaller greens, we can downgrade it a little bit because if you have a smaller green, you have obviously less distance to actually putt on. Around the green here is huge. The greens are small and they will be missed a ton this week. So you need a solid around the green game to save shots. Driving accuracy is super important, again, because they're super narrow fairways and we want our guys to land their balls in the fairway. And then we need approach, obviously. Approach works with around the green and regulation. All of these stats are huge this week because of these green sizes. So yeah. We have such a bizarre hodgepodge of names who have won here in the past, like Satoshi Kodaira and CT Pan. I'm expecting a good amount of variance this week. Let's hope we are on the right side of it. Mr. Shockey, take it away.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Approach, actually putting, if you look at the top 20 finishers, approach and putting are the top two, and they're over double of offset tee strokes gained. They're at point, so it's not loading right now, Fantasy National, but top 20 finishers were definitely, approach was 0.78 and putting was 0.78 because you need to hit that shot and you're hoping your guy one putts in case he has to chip or something with these small greens. So I don't normally look at putting as heavy, but for this week I will because of the smaller greens. Also, the short game around the green, anything like that. I did add in the proximities of like 150 to 200 range. And a little bit of tee to green and always some ball striking. But mainly my main focus was on the approach, putting, and around the greens.
Nice. Yeah. What'd you get for weather?
Weather is, as of like a couple hours ago, is mid 80s and 5 to 10 mile per hour winds as of right now. So kind of the same thing, about 10 to 15 degrees cooler, but the same winds as it was last week.
Pretty calm. Nice. Okay.
As of now.
Yeah, Travis. Yeah, Higgs. Higgs was a monster. Higgs was in a really good spot until the weekend. I think he got the all 4 rounds under 70 bonus, though. I think
all you had to do is go one under each day to get that.
It still counts, Shockey. There's people that didn't do it. Okay, DeChambeau didn't get it.
I know, that's funny. Yeah, all but one.
He had a hard day on Saturday. Saturday was a hard day for him.
You know, he didn't birdie hole one once. The easiest hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go figure. But yeah, Higgs was awesome. I love my boy Higgsy. So, all right. Let's get into this week. As we touched on previously, we have a great. Lost my screen. All right, wait for that to load. So we have a weird week this week in terms of pricing. We talked about it a little bit on the pre-show. We have 6 guys in the 10K range, which we usually only get like once or twice a year. This many people at 10K, and then we have 4 people in the 9K range. And usually, at least the weeks where we have 6 guys in the 10K range, we have
8,
like 6, 7, 8, or so in the 9K range. But nope, we have 4. So this week is weird. So, Shockey, yeah, take it away, my man. Tell me who you got up top in the big money. Who do you like?
I know he disappointed a lot of people last week, but I'll go to John Rahm. 10-5 John Rahm. When's the last time you seen John Rahm below 11K? In this upper tier group, this 10K and up, he's basically the same ownership as Morikawa. The lowest owned actually would be Schauffele, but everybody else, DeChambeau is the highest owned out of this group projected, and Thomas Macro above. Out of all those guys, I'll take the discount and the ownership discount on some of these guys with John Rahm, knowing how he's he doesn't. His approach stats won't be it's not as good as these guys in the last 50 rounds, and didn't look like it last weekend. But maybe that takes a few more people off of him, and you can get that leverage on the field with Jon Rahm, who can basically go out and get you an easy top 3 if he's on that week. And also, he's a good putter as well. His putting skill.
Sorry, I just like saying Rombo.
Okay. And then I'll go back. Even though Bryson DeChambeau is going to be one of the highest owned, I'll still go back to him. Why not ride him? I rode him last week at low ownership. I'll still keep with him. I mean, I think his around the green numbers were he lost strokes, but that was the only thing he lost strokes on. I mean, he was great off the tee, irons. Putting wasn't amazing. It was like 1.4 strokes gained, and that's like a baddish weekend for DeChambeau at sometimes. He can be a much better putter than that. So I'll go to DeChambeau, especially how much improved his iron games looked like kind of when he added that 25 pounds and they added 15 more over the 3-month break. This guy, they have another 3-month break, he might be like 300 pounds of 2% fat. Because this guy's just going to keep adding weight and hitting his putter off the tee. As for, I don't mind Rory, though, because he's not going to be super chalky, but I wasn't... at 11-3, I'll pass. I mean, kind of flipped on Sunday, but it didn't look bad the first 3 days. Just had a really bad Sunday. And then Justin Thomas, great. I don't mind Justin Thomas because of his ball striking. It's just... On Sunday, I saw him miss 2 5-foot putts. Like his putting, like you said, it's not hard putting greens, but yeah, man, that putting was terrible. And he can have a really good putting. He's a streaky putter, you know. He can be on, and he's kind of like a Gary Woodland. If he's on with putting, he's on. But I'll just take a little bit lower on Jon Rahm over him.
All right.
Don't deny Justin Thomas is one of the best ball strikers in the game.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we look at last week, Rory might have some putting yips. I know it's hard to say definitively because we only have a 1-game sample size, but Rory, who's usually a pretty solid putter, was pretty bad at putting. He was outside of the top 100. He's outside of the top 100 this week, looking at his numbers from last week. So that's an interesting narrative. Again, 11-3 with fucking 6 people in here. I'm more apt to fade the top price golfer again because if you're investing that much salary in someone, you need them to win. Really. You need that win for them to hit value. And yes, if they have a monster week, get a couple 3 birdie streaks, under 70 bonus, okay. Bogey-free bonuses, okay, they could get there if they come in top 5. Even if they just score really well. I think I pointed out after one day, Rahm, I think, was it Rahm and Finau? I think it was. Or no, because Rahm missed the cut. It was someone else in Finau, I think. They were, or maybe it was DeChambeau and Finau. They were 1 stroke off. One was minus 13, and the other was minus 12. DeChambeau was minus 13. Finau was minus 12, but Finau had 20 more DraftKings points than DeChambeau did, and it's because he made more.
You mean Reed?
Reed, yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
It was the bonus points.
Yeah, it was bonus points, and he just had less pars. He had more bogeys, but he had more birdies. You're only losing half a point with a bogey. So if guys are playing aggressive, they make a couple bogeys, but they make a couple birdies. It's better than just someone who makes pars. So it's just something to look at, in terms of DraftKings scoring. So up here for me, yeah, I'm off Rory. Like I said, you just need so much of an equity out of him. And there's a lot of goodness in this 9 and 8K range that I don't really want to limit myself. JT, again, if we look at his numbers from last week, was absolutely fucking awful off the tee. His fairways gain number from last week puts him almost dead fucking last in this field in driving accuracy. And then, yeah, his putting just had some pretty significant regression as well. Now, again, tee to green is top 10, approach is top 10, bogey avoidance is top 10, around the green is pretty good. So he could still do well here, but I feel more comfortable living in this kind of mid 10K range. So, yeah, I mean, Bryson, fuck yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely on board with DeChambeau flex. Definitely on board with that. He's 17th in my model last 50 rounds, but I think based off what we saw last week, he's really good on these long par fours, really good tee to green, really good with his irons, really good putter, really good at hitting greens, and he very well may be able to overpower this course. It's not just, he wasn't just hitting them really fucking far with his driver. He was hitting some of his irons like people hit their 3-woods. So even if he does club down and takes iron off the tee or 3-wood off the tee, he might be a little further out than some of the more accurate drivers of the ball, but he can definitely make up that ground with his very long approach shots. So I'm completely on board with this new fucking Terminator-looking Bryson DeChambeau flex. No Rahm, for me. I liked Rahm last week, but he worried me. That I'm not gonna lie, that miscut worried me for sure. And he hasn't been good on longer par fours, and these longer par fours are difficult here. Bogey avoidance isn't great. His putting last week was terrible. And we've seen the emotion out of Jon Rahm, where if one part of his game is off, it just fucking completely melts him down. And part of that's why we love him. Part of that's why we hate him. So yeah, it's gonna be Schauffele and Morikawa for me. And of course I'm playing Schauffele this week, so he won't do anything. But Schauffele, he's second in my model. Just across the board. I mean, yeah, he kind of choked out at the end there, but we've seen him win. We've seen him. He won the fucking PGA, or he won the FedEx Cup championship. He didn't actually win the FedEx Cup, but he won the event. Schauffele is good at golf, and I'm not worried about a possible one isolated little, choke out incident. Definitely not going to let that steer me off him. I like what I saw last week. Decent history here. He's made the cut each of the last 2 years here, so I don't hate him. Morikawa is going to be he's clearly the cash play up here. You can play Bryson if you want in cash, but if you want to play someone in this 10K range in cash, it's got to be Morikawa. The kid is just incredible. He just makes cuts. It's hard to get off him for sure. So yeah, DeChambeau, Schauffele, and Morikawa for me. I'll get into this 9K range real quick because there's only 4 fucking golfers in here. Im and Matsuyama for me. I'm gonna skip over Rose and Wimpson. I almost said Wimpson. Webb Simpson. Yeah. Rose came out fucking hot last week, but then kind of cooled off and fell off a little bit. And then Webb missed the cut. He was a chalk bomb. He was an absolute fucking chalk bomb last week, which I kind of predicted. So based on how he played last week, it was just utter and absolute garbage. So I'm sure he plays better this week. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he plays a lot better this week. But I just don't know what that's going to look like. And, I'm not really comfortable going there. And Rose did finish third. But still, I mean, he was winning the tournament at one point by a good margin. And he did have some struggles down the pipe there. So, yeah, it's Matsu and Im. I mean, Im, I don't know I don't know what you want me to say about Sung Jae Im. I fucking love the dude. He got a little price bump, but I'm okay with that. Only a couple $100, and he looked very good last week, and made me not look like an idiot for everything that I said about him. And then Hideki, this is the first time we're seeing Hideki in a while, but if we look back, if we remember, going back to the players, Hideki shot 9 under in the first fucking round of the players at TPC Sawgrass. 9 strokes under par, which is just fucking brutalizing TPC Sawgrass. Now, a lot of that was putting, which he's traditionally not a good putter, but that's what we get with Matsuyama. If, the rest of his game is so strong, if he can just putt decently well, he will light this course on fire. I mean, he's 10th bogey avoidance, 6th in greens and regulation, 5th in par 5 scoring, 3rd tee to green, 11th in approach, 4th around the green, 4th in super long par 4s, 19th in mid-range par 4s. Like, all the tools to do super well here, and yeah, putting for me personally, I know Shaki kind of disagreed with me a little bit, but that's fine because I'm not weighting putting as heavily. I'm still looking at it, obviously, but I'm not weighting it as heavily as I normally do this week, especially in someone that has a good approach and around the green game. If your approach game is good and your around the green game is good, ideally you're not going to be that far out from the fucking hole, so you won't need to be that good of a putter. So that's it for me. Im and Matsuyama are definitely both cash plays this week. If you're staying out of the 10K range, as I tend to do in cash, take one of those two. Or take both. Fuck it. You do you. Who am I to tell you what to do? Shaki, what do you got?
No, yeah, I looked hard at Matsuyama because I know what a terrific ball striker is and all that. I just gave a little edge to in this 9K range to the guys that played last week. So they shook it off a little bit of rust. Not saying Matsuyama, I mean, they were all rusty, and they came out, someone came out guns a-blazing. He could do the same thing. But I'll go back. I played Justin Rose last week. Worked out awesome for me, and he's only $200 more this week. I'll play him again. He didn't lose any strokes gained in any category last week. And then he gained 5-point strokes putting. And we know Justin Rose is a good putter. And he's got good irons. And before he switched back to different clubs before the break, and it worked out perfectly for him. He had like a kind of mediocre Friday, Saturday after the hot start on Friday, but then came back with a good Sunday and was in contention the whole time, basically. So I'll definitely go back to Justin Rose here. And then Sungjae Im, yes. Irons, yes. Off the tee, if you want way heavier, yes. Putting, yes. Sungjae Im is a rising star, yes. Basically, if Sungjae Im is playing, you can play Sungjae Im. He's basically just a little. He's only 22, so he's a little worse than Matsuyama on the irons. But that's not even bad. Just a little worse, but a way better putter. So you get a better putter of Sungjae Im than Matsuyama. So that's it for the 9K range. I'm not gonna Webb says he's projected to be the highest owned guy again. I didn't mind him because he has a decent iron game and is really good at putting. I don't mind him, but for GPPs, I'm staying away at the ownership. But this 8K range, this is where there's some weird prices this week.
Yep.
Going into it. I mean, at the top is Burger 8,900. I didn't rate him up. Not off a win. Auto
lock.
Yeah. Back-to-back wins for Daniel Berger. No, I want to. Not off a win, though. He can still do fine, but there's just cheaper guys in this 8K range that I like more. Answer at the bottom at $8,000. He had a good weekend. Bad Sunday, but no, I like Dustin Johnson, 8,500. It's just too cheap for Dustin Johnson. What?
Justin Donson? Who's that?
Yeah. I said Dustin Johnson.
I'm just fucking.
But he's not that mediocre ownership. Nothing good to say, really. It's a price play because If he even finds it for 1 week at 8,500, I'm going to take my shots. Like, if he was going to be higher owned than I wouldn't, but 8,500 is just too cheap, especially for a talent of that level. Like, he should never be 8,500 unless he's like 45 and hasn't made one cut or something like that. But I do like Tony Finau this week. It's kind of like Matsuyama, good iron player, and you're hoping for his putting because that's what they're kind of the same thing. Matsuyama's a little bit better of a ball striker and iron player, but Finau's also cheaper. So you're getting a cheaper Matsuyama with Finau. He's played this event twice in 16. He came in 39th and missed a cut in 15, but that's a long time ago. But at least he's played the course, so he knows if he kept any notes or tidbits about it. I don't know. I'll go back and then
his diary.
What? Yeah, he's like day one.
Dear
not
diary,
so good.
RBC Heritage Heart.
And then he just adds to his 7 kids after that.
Conversation we had last week. Do you know this fucking guy has 7 kids?
Yeah, Finau has 7 kids.
Hawaiian.
Yeah, he lives in Utah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he's small now, right?
I don't know. But I got a Brooks Koepka. He did fine. Didn't hurt me. Didn't help me to win anything. But 8,600 Brooks Koepka. It's the same thing with Dustin Johnson, except he's playing better than Dustin Johnson. Not much, but he's playing better than Dustin Johnson. And I like the same ownership as Dustin Johnson. I could interchange these guys easily. It's just too cheap, not super high owned. And if he cares at one point, actually, it was just his irons that screwed him last week. He gained 4.5 strokes putting, but he lost 4.5 strokes with his irons, which is why he didn't finish as good as well as he did, or should have. But and then the last guy here was Patrick Reed, projected to be one of the higher owned guys in this area, but I still like him because decent iron player with an amazing putter, and is a Rahm guy, just like Rahm. He gets angry very quickly, but I mean, he came off last week of 7.4 strokes game putting, only 6.6 on approach, but you give him, he's a little bit better than 0.6 strokes on approach. So if he could get that up to like 2 this week, and probably the putting falls about 5, a more realistic one, he could definitely find himself up there again. I just like him. Even though he's playing better than these other guys, I like him a little bit worse because of his ownership, for a GPP standpoint. Okay. That's it.
That's it?
Right. Well, there's only 8 of them. I'm not going to name all 8.
I was waiting. I didn't want to interrupt you. I did not want to be rude.
Oh, I'm not playing Spieth. He's projected to be high owned again? No, thank you. He plays well at Colonial. I thought that maybe he looked so bad he couldn't do it. He did it. Even though he gained over 8 strokes on putting, and I think he lost strokes on approach, it's like he just had his back to old Jordan Spieth for 1 week, where he's amazing at putting, the best putter, but he can't do anything else. But now he's going to a course where he's not amazing at, or he hasn't played, and it's just like, no thanks. I'm not eating Spieth chalk after missing it last week on a course. It's not just a good course. I've
never been as tilted as I was, as like I saw the Jordan Spieth slappies taking victory laps on Twitter. Like, really, guys? Like, come on. Yeah. So 8K range for me. No burger. No, thank you. Yeah, he won last week. Okay, cool. Whatever. Moving on. Definitely like Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed is very much cash viable for me this week. Grades out well. Good putter. Good with his irons. Good tee to green. Good in these longer par 4s, these more difficult par 4s. And we have a narrative. For those of you who have followed any of my hockey content, I'm a narrative guy. I love narratives. I look for narratives. And, for a little while there, when HV3 was winning, I was very upset with myself because that was a blatantly obvious narrative. Like, oh, of course, with everything going on in the world, of course, a black dude's going to win the very first PGA Tour we have back. So I was kicking myself for missing that narrative. Another one that I've kicked myself for was the St. Patrick's Day tournament last year that Rory won. Like, of course, it's St. Patrick's Day. Of course, an Irishman is going to win this golf tournament that finishes on St. Patrick's Day on a Sunday. So, yeah, I like narratives. You know, Patrick Reed has always said that he was a top 5 golfer in the world, and he's sitting at 6th right now. He is 6th in the overall world golf ranking. So if he does anything decently well this week, he could very easily move up into 5th, considering I believe the top 5 in the world are playing this week in this event. So let's go Patrick Reed. Definitely like Patrick Reed. Spieth, no thank you. Fuck right off. Everything you said. And if I had to choose between Brooks and DJ this week, I would pick DJ.
Interesting.
Because I'm a narrative guy. And DJ and RBC events go hand in hand together. DJ is an RBC sponsor. He plays this tournament most years.
He played the last 2 years. Not.
Yeah, I think that's when the sponsorship started. Because he always, those last 2 years, he's made the fucking ride here from, Augusta, instead of relaxing. Oh, no, and then the third year, that was the year he fell and fucking broke his back. That was the year he fell down the stairs at the Masters in 2017. But he was supposed to play here. That was the year. As the story goes, he was banging someone else's wife, and they caught him and chased him down the stairs, and he fell down the stairs in his mansion in Augusta or whatever. That's just a rumor, though. I don't want to spread rumors. So I'm going to go with DJ.
But you said it anyways.
It was just a rumor. I saw it on Twitter. Let's not give it that much weight. I have no proof of that. So, yeah, Brooksy, he did all right last week. I wasn't impressed by him. And I think he's going to be the higher owned guy here.
Could be, but I think it's close.
Yeah.
Because it's like $100 difference between these two guys. It's a toss-up either way.
And one did much better than the other one last week, we'll say.
Okay, recency bias after 1 week has the tilting edge.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, it's going to be a thing this week. There's going to be a ton of recency bias this week. I guarantee you Daniel Berger carries some ownership.
9%?
I guarantee you it's higher than that. It's above 15 this week.
No, he ain't going above 15. Now with the prices of the people around him.
Well, all right. I guess you're right with his price being.
I mean, Simpson above 100 more than him. Patrick Reed's 100 less than him.
Yeah.
He's in that weird. If he was like 7,900, yes, he would be
fair.
Higher on, but not at 8,900.
Yeah, you're right. You're fair. I hear you. I get what you're saying. So I don't disagree with that. Anyways, though, so I'm just honestly not going to play either one. I don't think it's something I want to touch this week. It feels trappy. It's like
not in cash games.
No, not in cash games. I'm not going to play them in GPPs either. It feels like a trap. Plus, I like Patrick Reed for a couple $100 more, and I love me some Gary Woodland for couple $100 less. Gary had a good week last week, and this course is pretty similar. It's a shorter course. You need to putt well. You need to hit irons. Hit these greens, and love me some Gary Woodland. Cooch, fucking cash game Cooch, man. I'm going right back to him this week. If he doesn't dunk it in the water on 18, he makes the cut, and we're not having this conversation. And who knows what kind of weekend he has. He's played here a shit ton. In the last 5 years, he leads this entire field in total strokes gained at this course. He's got second place last year, 2 other top 10s, 1 other top 5, and then a T23 and a T11. So he's 5 for 5 the last 5 years here. So give me Kuchar. I'm going right back to him. I'm not worried about him. Everything's about Finau. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to like him too. I don't know if I'm going to play him in cash, but he's a great GPP play. No Fowler. No thank you. I didn't like what I saw last week. He changed his swing in the offseason, and I think he's still working out the kinks, so I'm going to stay away. And then Answer and Hatton. I love Answer. I think Answer's a cash play. He looked super good last week. All of his stats are solid. Nothing is overwhelmingly terrible, which is what I love to look for in my cash plays. He's relatively inexpensive, so I definitely love me some Answer. And then Hatton, I love in GPPs. Before we went on break, he was the last winner. He won the last event on tour. So I think if he was able to carry some of that momentum into the break, kind of work on some of his putting issues, because historically he is not a good putter. He doesn't have the best history here, but, approach game is there, tee to green game is there, bogey avoidance is there, greens in regulation is there. It's just a question of his putting. If he can putt well, he can do well here. So, yeah, on board with the Hatton. So I'll take us into this fucking huge 7K range. This range is absurd. Have you counted how many golfers are in this range?
No, because they made it all up from not people in the 9 and 8K range.
It's ridiculous. There are so I don't even think I can count this high.
It took me a while.
Anyways, I'll move quickly because I know it's getting late. No Kokrak. I love Kokrak. Believe me, I've been a Jason Kokrak mark forever. But what we saw last week was cool. He did really well, but I need to see more before I get back on him. His putting is still terrible. His around the green game is almost the worst in this field. So I'm off Kokrak. Fitzpatrick, fucking, he's a wispy beanstalk of a man, but goddamn is he good at golf. He got it done for us last week. I'm on him again this week. No Lowry. Not really big on Scheffler. No Grace.
Scheffler's not playing, by the way, anyways.
Oh, is he out?
Scheffler and Nah are not playing, just in case you didn't look.
I did see the tweet that I knew about Nah. I did see that Scheffler did withdraw. So, wow, Fantasy Nationals really got to update their shit. Grace, no. Horschel, no. Boosty, Kisner. Fucking definitely going back to the Kisner well this week. He had a good week last week, and this course should suit him. I mean, he's done well here last 5 years. Hasn't missed a cut. Couple top 10s, T11. He's 5 for 5 on made cuts. So, yeah, definitely going back to the Kisner well. Putting and irons, that's what Kisner does. The Poltergeist. Ian Poulter is interesting to me because he has also very good history here. 2 top 10s, a T11, a T18, and a T54. He is also 5 of 5 made cuts here. Again, we have the question. We don't know what form he's going to be in. That kind of concerns me a little bit, but he might make for a very strong GPP play. No day. Nope. His back looked like it was still bothering him last week, so no thank you. Big Dick Victor Hovland. I don't know why I'm looking up his course history here because he doesn't have any. And I knew that. I like Vic as a GPP play. He grades out well. His game is, his game should suit him to do well here. My only concern is around the green game. His putting isn't great, but I'm not really worried about putting too much. But his around the green is fucking awful. He needs to work out whatever the fuck is going on with his wedges. Looks like he did decently well last week. But, yeah, no thank you. Not with all these other choices. Benny on,
Pete Dye specialist.
Benny on, Pete Dye specialist. I thought that was Siwoo.
No, it's Benny on. Maybe Siwoo, but I don't look up Siwoo things because I'd rather just place Benny on. If I had the choice of the two.
Fucking people calling me 40 in chat. That's dirty. That's dirty, people. Travis, I don't know what you liked, but I appreciate it. And I appreciate it, whatever you liked. So maybe it is Benny on. I always,
yeah.
Whatever. Sewell gets Sewell from this field too, right? Fucking Sewell. Yep, yeah. So
Yeah.
Benny on, yeah. I mean, you can play him. I mean, he does well at P-Dye courses. That's fine. History here: T7 and 18 miscut line. So do with that what you will. If you want to talk about Benny on, I'll let you talk about Benny on. I'm not going to though. Poston, no thank you. Damon looked good last week. I don't hate him in a GPP. He looked real good last week, so I don't mind going back to there. Sneds is back. Sneds is actually playing this week, so that's exciting.
As of right now.
As of right now. Yeah, that's true. So really good around the green, really good with his irons, really good putter. You know, the rest of his tee to green, fairway, and approach stats are middling at best, I would say. Nothing super good. But he's played here the last 5 years, only missed the cut once. So I'm going to be interested to see what Sneds does. I don't know if I'm going to play him, but I'm going to be interested to see how he does. Bubba, we saw Bubba last week tear up the course. I still worry about his around the green game and his approach game. He's never played here before, or at least he hasn't played here in the last 5 years. Yeah, so I have my concerns about Bubba this week. Moving right along, Joaquin the Dream, RCB, no thank you. HV3 I might have some interest in. He played really well last week. His numbers actually grade out pretty well as well. Again, his around the green isn't terrific. He's missed the cut. He really hasn't done shit here the last 4 times he's played here. So I don't know if we can get there. I think he might carry some ownership just because everyone saw him carrying it up the first 2 days. And really the last 3 days because he played with Speed on the featured group on Saturday, right? So if he carries some ownership, I'm probably not going to go there.
2% Varner?
What's that? Varner.
You talk about 2%.
Yeah. What's that?
2%.
All right. Well, might be worth it. Might be an interesting GPP play.
No one really gets hyped on Harold Varner after a decent performance of 3 days.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. That's a valid point. Connors, my boy, Connors, he has also not done well here, but God,
because he can't putt.
Yeah, but man, he learned how to putt last week. He played very well last week as well. He was pounding greens. Tee to green was good. Approach was good. You know, he is a very good iron player and very accurate off the tee, but his around the green game sucks and his putting usually sucks. And those two sucking combined concern me. So he's
at this course.
Yeah, exactly. So he's fucking wild and out GPP play. If you want to play him, I don't think I'll get there. Hadwin, kind of the same boat. Like, he worked out for us last week, but around the green is still terrible. So, and as much as I want to buy into the RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, Hadwin is a Canadian, as much as I want to buy into it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get there this week. Nah.
Oh, you're finally loaded.
What's that?
You can't play now anyways.
He withdrew. We just talked about that. That's why I said
nah.
That's why I said nah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Recovery. English, no thank you. Sergio, no thank you. Palmer, no thank you. Christian Bazundenhout, no thank you.
Oh, my
what?
God. Don't worry, I'll get to him.
Is that your boy?
I'll get to him.
Has he ever played here? No. I'm interested to see what you have to say about him. I'm sure you like him for some weird reason.
Yep. You liked him one event.
I did.
Yep.
Scott P. I don't hate. Scott Piercy. He's got a good history here. His game's kind of in rough shape now, but we're kind of getting into the dregs of this week. So we might just have to, might have to take some flyers down here. He's got good history here. Streelman, also, he's another guy. Good history here, back-to-back. T7, T8. Doesn't grade out terribly badly in my model.
No thanks, Streelman. Nope. I saw you last week. I gave you a chance again. No.
I gave you a chance not to hurt me. And then the Gooch. I'm a Gooch mark. I love me some Gooch.
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah, you pronounce my name wrong. I'll pronounce Taylor's wrong.
Taylor. So that's really gonna do it for me. There's not a lot down here low that I really am in love with. So you go.
But like the 7K range is a lot of interchangeable guys. They have the goods you like, they have the bads you like. But I'll go with Bubba Watson. Not going to be highly owned. He had a good iron week last week, good putting. Even before the break, he had some good putting. Like the last two events he played in, he had good, really good putting weeks. He did gain strokes in every category last week, which was nice to see. Even around the green, that he usually is not too great at. He has back and forth weeks around with his chipping. He's always been a decent iron player with a putter that can be hot or not. It's not usually terrible, but on a bad weeks, it's not like his bad weeks can be around 0 strokes or 1 stroke loss or something like that. So it won't kill you all the time with his putting. But I go with, and then my next guy, I'll go with Neiman, Joaquin Neiman. He's a great iron player. He hasn't lost strokes on approach since the Open Championship last year, which was windy-ish, if you remember. So that's probably why he lost it there. Back and forth with his putting, but if he can just gain some strokes on putting, I think he could get top 20, top 25 with how well his iron game is. And then obviously I'm going to say Hovland. Hovland last week was the first time he didn't lose strokes in around the green and putting in the same week since the U.S. Open last year. That was his first time. And with that new chipping coach, maybe that helped out. Still around the same ownership as last week, but with his accuracy everywhere else and what could be trend surging where he's better around the greens and putting, I'm going to play him, and I'd probably play him anyways, even if it wasn't, but it's looking 1 week sample size not good enough. I'd like to see 2 or 3 weeks where it's not atrocious like it's been, but hopefully it improves for him. And I will mention Christian Bezuidenhout.
Yeah, that was that.
Yeah, even though he missed the cut only by 1 stroke last week, in his other, including last week, and his other 2 fully recorded PGA events on his tour career card, he's not lost strokes on putting or approach once. And in the one that didn't record putting but recorded approach for some reason, he also didn't lose on approach that time. In his 5 PGA events, he's only missed 2 cuts with a top 30 and a top 20s, and he's played in 2 WGCs and a major. Well, and there. So his 1 cut was there. So he's played in good fields. He's played really good iron games and really good putting. At 7,200, at no ownership. Basically, you're getting him as if he gets somehow in the top 30, you're passing up everybody. Then Matthew Fitzpatrick, again, mentioned him last week. Don't like him as much this week, but a solid iron player, a solid putter. He's a solid accuracy guy. He can blow your socks off at times, but most likely what he did last week, 20, 35th, that's what he'll sit in. I do like Ian Poulter as well, not as much because he's projected to be higher owned. Just around 12%, so the only double-digit guy really in here that I liked. Average with his irons, but a great putter. Like, if he has one of his good iron weekends, like he can, like amazing iron weekends, he could get top 20, top 15. Average weekend, as long as his putter's there, top 30 easily. And I'll go with Brandt Snedeker. About the same thing as Ian Poulter, just the withdrawal. Do you know why he withdrew? I forgot the...
No one knows.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned. That's what I didn't find it. I was like, that was a little worrisome of why he withdrew. But it's kind of the same thing with Poulter. Average iron with a good putter. But before the break, 2 of his past 5 events, 2 missed cuts, top 25, top 15, top 5. So it's kind of boom or bust with Brandt Snedeker. But he's played. Oh wait, sorry, I misread that. He's played this event the past 5 years, so he knows the course with a missed cut, a top 50, 2 top 25s, and a top 15. Yes, it was a weaker field, but at least he knows the course really well to come back to an event where he has played this course 5 years in a row. And that will do it for the 7K range for me.
All right, perfect. I'll jump into the 6K range real quick because I might have to run. My one daughter is acting up. She woke up and apparently she's screaming for me. So my wife's trying to keep our other daughter asleep. So I'm going to go through this real quick. 6K range, not a ton down here. Higgs, my boy Higgs, obviously. I might go back to him in GPPs. He did well. He made the cut. That's all we're asking for in this range. Griot, you can always take a flyer on Griot if you want. Terrible putter. Not really good around the green either, but the rest of his game is pretty decent. So you can always take a flyer on him down here. Sam Burns, it's Sam Burns week, ladies and gentlemen. Way down low. He came in, 8th here last year? 9th? And he did, shockingly well here last year. I remember he was, oddly chalky, too. For some reason, he got a lot of talking up at 9th. That's what it was. And he played really well here. So he's back. He's worth a flyer. There's not a ton of cash plays down here this week. I'm just scrolling through here real quick. Burgoon, we can go back to Burgoon GPPs. He made the cut, so that was cool. Played decent, didn't do anything great, but for 6K, he got the job done for us. I'm not going to mention Kyle Stanley because I know that's a trap. We can mention Davis Love at absolute fucking min price as a crazy GPP player because I believe he's won this event a couple times. He always comes back here every year, kind of like our boy, whoever the hell he was last week, who won it in the 80s and just still comes back and plays just for a vacation.
Oh, Keith Clearwater.
Clearwater, that's it. Yep. Tringali grades out decently well for his price. Good on approach, good around the green, decent-ish at putting. So that's viable. There's not a lot down here to love. So that's probably gonna do it for me. Not a ton. Knox, he played like garbage last week, so probably not a good idea to go there. So all right, I'm gonna mute this. If I'm not back by the time you're done, Shockey, just wrap it up, take us out. I gotta go make sure my kid's all right. So all right, if I don't see you, Nation, peace out, guys. Catch you next week. Hit me up in Slack. Love you. Miss you. See you next week.
Thank you. I'll go back to Doc Redmond at 6,400 this week. Made the cut, which all I needed to do at 6,300 last week. I'll go back to him. He's a gray iron player. Putting is always a concern with him and is around green play, but he has proven that he can have a decent, just a little bit between 0-1 strokes gained around the green, and then have a miraculous 3 strokes on putting week, which if he does that with his iron play at this course, I think he can fare well here. If he makes a cut, that's all I need. If he can get into that top 40 at 6,400, I love it. Matthew Nesmith finished last week at 49th, gained strokes on approach and putting. Struggled at chipping, but he's hit and miss with around the green play. He can, just like Redmond, can hit or miss around the green play. That's fantastic. If with his iron performance and his putting, top 40 is now the question for Nesmith. And even though Sebastian Munoz did not do well for me, I'll still go back to him one more time with his iron play and with his putter play. Usually boom or bust with his whole game, but I'll take the chance on knowing what the boom can be at under 7K. And then Vaughn Taylor, same thing with Munoz, but the interesting thing with Vaughn Taylor is that when he has his good iron games, it comes with his good putting games. It's correlation city with Vaughn Taylor most of the time. If you're seeing Vaughn Taylor have amazing irons, he'll putt very well. It just gives him confidence to putt. I don't know what it is. But
it did not happen last week.
What?
Which did not happen last week.
Which did not happen last week, so that's why he missed the cut. But if he has a good iron week, then his putting falls up, and then he makes the cut, and then can get into the top 20 somehow. That is a weaker field, so realistically with this field, top 35, if he gains what he's he can gain over 4 strokes and 3 strokes putting. But mine was Redmond, Smith, Munoz, and Taylor. I don't like to name too many. VJ Singh? No, thank you. He's in this week. Old ass VJ Singh.
CP Pan, defending champion.
Oh yeah, woo! Where he had his best week ever.
Jazz and Watananan.
Oh, he didn't win, so he didn't make the cut, so I don't have to pay you any money.
I know.
You missed it by 1. I'm like, don't do it. Don't even make the cut.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
I know you're not going to win, but don't even make the cut. Just want the extra glorification.
Yeah, whatever. So, all right, well. Oh, I mentioned Wes's Million Maker Cheapy. Was that Davis Love the third?
No, it was not. It was the first guy in your 6K range, I think.
All right. All right, that's fine. Harry Higgs, let's go. Let's go, boys. Jump on the Higgs train.
No, it was Sam Burns, I think.
Oh, Burnsy. Okay, yeah, I remember last year he was weirdly chalky, and he was something like 40% owned in cash, I think. And I'm like, what the fuck are people doing? And then he finished top 10. So I was like, well, I'm an asshole. I missed something apparently, but not this year. So, all right. I came back to say goodbye, nation. My wife texted me the help call, and I go in there and everyone's asleep. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not needed now. So, all right, everyone. Well, you got anything else you want to throw out there, Shocky? Any nuggets of wisdom?
Dustin Johnson.
Justin Donson.
Top 10.
Bronson Burgoon. Let's go.
Okay, Bronson Burgoon needs his. If he can't putt, he ain't making the cut.
Here's your Millie Maker winning lineup, right? Burgoon and Higgs, lock them in, and then just put whoever the hell else you want in.
Oh, then you just stack, and then you're like, oh, I'll just get Rory, and
yeah. And then he misses the cut, and Burgoon and Higgs both make it. And
you're right. Every 10K misses the cut, and then Burgoon and Higgs win it. That's how it's going to go.
Why do I play this game?
Why did I just leave $15,000 on the table?
Yeah. I don't know who I'm going to play in one and done yet. Do you have any thoughts on one and done? I might do. I don't know. I might do Answer. I kind of don't want to play a big gun. I don't. This week, the Shambo last week did well for me, but I don't know.
Tony Finau?
Finau, yeah. Finau might be all right. Yeah, I don't know. This event's always someone weird wins this event every year.
You want someone weird? Why not go with a Bubba Watson then?
CT Pan.
Weird. One and done weird.
Wesley Bryan, Brendan Grace.
I like.
Maybe I'll do Kuchar. Maybe Kuchar's going to be my play this week.
I don't mind that at all. I think it fits him well. He's played it well. I'm just not playing him in GPPs because of the ownership. But
maybe Kuchar's going to be my. I mean, if Jim Furyk could win this event in as recently as 5 years ago. Kuchar's won at least a couple times in the last year, 2 years.
No, he's like the opposite of Phil Mickelson. He doesn't hit it long, but he's way more accurate right now.
Yeah. Oh, Phil's just such a dumpster fire right now.
Like, Phil, if this was a driving range, I'd play you every week, but damn, I can't play you when you're in the water.
Yeah.
Or the woods. Or someone's house.
You see that? Was that last week where the ball, I forget who it was, the ball hit the cart path and rolled onto like a bridge, and like the cart path was okay? Maybe it was Varner. I think it was Varner on his Friday round that he started with like a triple bogey. He hit on the cart path and it rolled onto a bridge, and the cart path was okay, but the bridge was actually out of bounds, so they had to give him a penalty for it. And then he still like shot super well and was still like winning the event. I was like, Jesus Christ. Well, all right, nation, that's enough. I'm going to go to bed. You guys do the same. Or not. Whatever. Who am I? I'm not going to tell you what to do. Make sure you subscribe to the Wise Take YouTube channel. Hit us all up on Twitter. I'm at Brewmatic. He's at Clint Petrikis. Or not. Whatever. Give us a like. Turn on notifications so you know when we're live. Shout out to CK, who's producing this and pumping out some epic Korean baseball content while producing this show. My man is the hardest working sumbitch at DFS, and he's our boss, and he's a good dude. So shout out to CK. Shout out to you guys. We will see you next week. Everyone take it easy. Good luck. Hit us up in Slack. Hit us up on Twitter if you guys need anything. And we'll catch you next week. Take it easy, everyone. Have a good night.
Yeah.